This is Season 8, Episode 155 of the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast.
Sometimes the important thing is not the number of miles you've driven, but what's going on inside your head while driving. The Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast will stimulate your mind and keep you company while on the road. Join us for education, motivation, and inspiration from wherever you may be in our nation. You'll hear roundtable discussions about important information that's impacting our industry. Plus, you'll learn more about new technology, equipment, driving opportunities, safety, and operations. Get driver success and fitness tips to keep you profitable, safe, healthy, as well as entertaining stories from the road. And don't you know, we've all got a few of those. We might be traveling in different directions, but we're all part of one driver community at the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast. With your host, trucker Tim Cicerelli.
Hello and welcome into episode 155 of the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast. Tim Cicerelli here, otherwise known as Trucker Tim. A lot of great interviews in store for you here in episode 155. We're going to continue our Legend series as we welcome back Big Jim Adams. Jim's been with Stevens for 22 years, and he has worn many hats and mentored countless drivers in over 2 decades. In this episode, he'll share some heartfelt wisdom and some stories that you won't want to miss. We're also going to be talking about why team driving just might be your next big move and fatten your paycheck. We're going to be welcoming back driver DeAndre Benz, an independent contractor who is knocking on the door of the Hall of Fame. His journey is a masterclass in grit, growth, and financial independence. And with Driver Appreciation Week 2025 just around the corner, Rachel Easley joins me to preview all the awesome giveaways and games and gratitude headed your way starting on September 14th. And here in Season 8, we have a new segment that's pretty fun. We hope you're enjoying it. It's called Did You Know? At the beginning of every episode, I'll give you a little hint about something interesting about Stevens Transport, and then at the end of the episode, I will reveal the actual statistic. So, in today's episode, your Did You Know is about those drivers who are traveling with a pet. How many drivers for Stevens Transport in 2024 traveled with their pet? We will have that answer for you coming up at the end of the episode. But let's kick off this episode and learn how technology is going to be making your life as a driver much easier behind the wheel. I'm going to sit down with our VP of IT and talk about how her team is using innovation to improve the driver experience, from streamlining systems to helping you focus on what you do best, and that is driving. Let's welcome back Brittany Bemben on our Stevens Roundtable. It's our Stevens Roundtable. This is giving you, our audience, our drivers, an opportunity to kind of peek behind the curtain there at Stevens Transport and learn what's going on and how the various folks that are running the show there at Stevens Transport are going to make your life easier while you're out there on the road and more profitable. And one of the systems, of course, that we need to be on top of, that Stevens Transport is always on the cutting edge of, is technology. And joining us is a relatively new hire at Stevens Transport in our innovation and technology. She's our VP of IT. It's Brittany Bemben. Hey, Brittany, welcome back to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
And we had so much fun during our employee spotlight. We had to invite you back to go, all right, now we got to know who Brittany is as a person outside of Stevens Transport. So if you missed that, go back a couple episodes and get to know how Brittany spends her time before she comes into the office of Stevens Transport. And I'll tell you, what she does is pretty magnificent. By the time we get up and have our first cup of coffee, I'll just say this: she's already accomplished more than any of us have all week long. Right, Brittany?
Well, not everyone, but yes, probably.
You're being humble, and that's just a tease. If you want to learn what it is, go back and give it a listen. But Brittany, right now, I'd love to talk about life before Stevens. What'd you do before you got here?
Well, I've spent my entire career working in the transportation industry. I started out by being on the operations side. Growing up, My first job, I started in the management training program where I got to spend a year working in almost every department of an international logistics company. So I've had my hand a little bit across the business.
So you know logistics, you know transportation. This is in your
It's my
blood.
passion. Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's your passion. And that's required at Stevens Transport. Now, I'm sure, you've been here a few months. You started in March. Is that correct, of 2025?
Yes.
Around
Yes.
that time. And so tell us about what your thoughts are on the culture at Stevens Transport. You said it's your passion. I think that's kind of a prerequisite if you want to be a part of this team.
Yeah, I absolutely do. I think we have a strong culture and a passion for transportation here at Stevens.
And so you jump in and you dive in head first, I'm sure, as everybody does at Stevens Transport. It's a family-owned and family-run business on the cutting edge of technology. What are your plans in this department to move the needle a little bit, to move forward?
I think we're going to focus on primarily initiatives that bring value to our customers, right? We're here to service the customer. And our customers every single day in this industry are demanding more and more from us, as they should. So one of our top priorities is to focus on direct initiatives that bring value to our customers and help drive value to the relationships we have with them.
So with technology, are there new applications that need to be learned from those of us in the building or from our drivers? Or how does that fall on your plate with what you're doing at Stevens as a VP?
Yeah, I would say we have learned here in this industry over the last few years that the technology is coming at us very fast, right? We're in a great industry and area that is getting a lot of capital infused to move technology forward. And so what is new today is old tomorrow. And I would say most of the pieces of technology that would affect our driver pool and our operations staff the most will be focused on location services. Where is my freight? When is it going to get there? Or how fast is it going to get there? Is typically what our customers are most interested in. So timeliness when it comes to that, and status updates is really what our customers crave from us as partners.
Status updates. I mean, and then the way to measure that, I'm sure, is constantly changing and getting better and better and better. How much of that is an impact on our drivers? Is this something that they're going to have to learn to do, or is this something that's done in the back end? They just do their job and get the freight there safely and on time.
Well, the one of the biggest benefits of technology for our drivers is that as technology expands, it means drivers are going to have to focus less on anything but driving, right?
Mm-hmm.
Getting the freight from point A to point B in the safest manner possible is what they need to focus on. Allow the technology to do everything else to not only help them get there safely, but also show our customers that they were there safely. And
that's what I'm talking about. The whole purpose of this podcast is for to recruit new drivers, quality drivers to Stevens Transport. So a lot of folks find this podcast while they're looking for a job and when they're doing their research on choosing a company where to hitch their wagon, as it were. We're showing them all of the benefits of becoming a driver for Stevens Transport. Everything you just said right there was we're doing everything we can on your end to make it as easy as possible for our drivers to do what they do, is drive, and not all these other ancillary tasks on top of it. You do what you do, stay in your lane, be a sailboat, not a rowboat, your native genius, and you guys can handle the rest, as it were. So let's talk culture and family culture. I mean, you've noticed obviously a family-run, family-driven business, and being new on the VP level. Tell us what that process was like, and how they've made you feel welcoming a new person into the fold, into the family, as it were.
I've felt nothing but welcomed. I enjoy working here at Stevens. I would say from day one, I could feel the passion coming from the team. Mm-hmm. Not only from the family, but from the rest of the executive team and the leadership team and the operations team, in not only welcoming me, but being interested in my thoughts, and, passions, and allowing me to help take Stevens technology and innovation team to the next level.
Well, it's going to be exciting to watch you work, and we're very grateful that you're a part of our team now, and we look forward to meeting you during Driver Appreciation Week. That's my next time that I'll be there. So, Brittany Bemben, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast again. You're a delight to talk to, and excited to see what you do with Stevens.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, Driver Appreciation Week 2025 is right around the corner, something that we look forward to every single year at Stevens Transport and industry-wide as well, too. But we put on a big shindig. It's a big party. We show our drivers how much we appreciate them. And joining us now is an old friend, Rachel, not calling you old Rachel, but someone who's been a friend of ours for a while. Rachel Easley with Driver Services. Rachel, wonderful to see you again.
Wonderful to see you. Hey, no, I'm not old.
No, you are not old.
It's been around a long time.
You've just, been doing this podcast for now going on our 5th year and our 8th season, and you've been there from the very beginning. So always a pleasure to see you in person, and now we're doing it through our webcams. But I will see you in person during Driver Appreciation Week. So tell us what we've got cooking for our drivers coming up here in just a few weeks.
We are super excited about Driver Appreciation, as we are every year. Of course, we do the annual T-shirt. Every driver gets a T-shirt. For the drivers that are on the yard that week, we are going to feed lunch and dinner. We're going to do some games in the driver's lounge, have prizes. For the drivers that don't get to the yard, I'll do my annual raffle where I'll be pulling names from all the drivers in the fleet, obviously, not just the ones here or just the ones on the road. We've got TVs, Bluetooth speakers, tons of gift cards that we'll be giving out. It's just, I've got some of the Bluetooth headsets already that I know I'm going to give out, and I'm super excited. I love that part.
Yeah. And so if I'm a driver and I'm listening to this right now, I'm thinking, well, how do I enter for something like that? You don't need to, do you?
Well, you don't need to. I actually use the same generator for those prize winners that we use for our random drug screens. So all you have to do is be employed.
Just be employed.
And you're in.
And you're in, and you can win because we want to show you how much we appreciate you.
That's right. That's right.
So let's talk about that week. That is coming up in September, the week of September 14th. Is that correct?
Yes.
September 14th. Yes. So stuff happening every single day at Stevens Transport. Anything you want the drivers to do to prepare for that? Is there something on their end that they can think about doing so that they can maximize the appreciation they receive from Stevens Transport?
For the drivers on the road that are not going to make it in, something that you need to keep in mind is that truck stops are going to be doing things for drivers. Truck stops will start putting up signs prior to that, the week of Driver Appreciation. There's some that will have they give extra points, or they'll give free drinks, free cup of coffee, free donut for breakfast. And also some of our customers are going to be doing cookouts.
Yeah, so when you're dropping off your load, they're going to take care of you, right?
That's right. And as we learn that information of who is going to be doing what for you, we'll share that with you. So make sure and pay attention to your platform science messages, because that's where all this information is going to come from. I'll also be doing some trivia questions on platform science that I'm going to be looking for some answers, and I'll give prizes to those, the winners. So,
well, Rachel, with this being a weekly podcast too, if you'd like to utilize this platform and shoot some of those questions to me or join me every couple of weeks as we get closer, you're welcome to come back here and use this as a platform to distribute that as well. So again, just a quick little hit to spend a little bit of time with Rachel Easley and Driver Services to let you know we've got some special stuff cooking for our drivers. Driver Appreciation Week beginning the week of September 14th. So we will see you in person, Rachel, when I'm out there talking to the drivers, and always great to see you. And thanks for being with us today to give us a little heads up.
Great. Thank you so much.
Now more than ever, truck drivers are true American heroes. The men and women who literally keep America moving by delivering goods across the country. Being a professional driver is a rewarding, financially lucrative, long-term career filled with exciting adventures. A career where you'll never have to worry about job security. If you have your CDL and keep it up, it will sustain you for the long haul. You can see the country, serve your country, and provide a good life for your family. Whether you'd rather haul on a dedicated route or lane, or prefer working with one specific customer, if you want to own your business, we have a program that sets you up for success with all the tools and support you need. We've got opportunities in our intermodal rail division, and have programs to help military veterans transition into trucking careers. We have second generations of drivers whose parents have driven for Stevens, who then trained their children and are now truck drivers. Some are even small fleet owners. So, whatever your dream is, you can achieve it right here at Stevens. If you're looking for a company with a 40-plus year track record that's never had a layoff and just had the largest pay increase in company history for both new and experienced drivers, Stevens Transport has you covered. We offer the finest tools and technology and provide our drivers with the best state-of-the-art equipment on the market. Our infrastructure will support you both on and off the road. As a driver for Stevens, you become part of our family. Many companies throw the word family around. We're family-owned, family-run, and family-driven. Our 40-plus years of success is built on family. At Stevens, you're not just a number. Our drivers are part of our extended family, and we recognize and honor them every chance we get. If you want to be among the top income earners among professional drivers, if you want great benefits, if you want to have every type of driving opportunity at your fingertips, if you want to be part of a company that will stand behind you and ensure your success, come join the Stevens Transport family today and become an American hero. So, what are you waiting for? Take the first step toward your future career with the best trucking company in America. Become part of the Stevens Transport family today by calling our recruiting department at 1-800-333-8595 or apply online at stevenstransport.com.
Ever wondered what it's like to drive across the country and get paid to see America's breathtaking landscapes? Welcome to life as a team driver with Stevens Transport. The life of a trucker can sometimes feel solitary, but with team driving, you're never alone. Let's dive into how teaming up with another driver can transform your trucking career. So what exactly is team driving? Simply put, it's when two drivers share the responsibilities of operating the same truck. This allows for continuous travel and efficient delivery. Federal regulations require solo drivers to be off-duty for at least 10 consecutive hours after 11 hours of driving. Team driving, however, maximizes productivity by alternating driving shifts, cutting down on overall trip times. By working in shifts, team drivers can cover over 5,500 miles a week. That's more than double what solo drivers can achieve, leading to more priority loads and higher earnings. Efficiency is key. With two drivers, tasks like loading and unloading become quicker and easier. Plus, you'll earn more per mile. One of the greatest perks? You get to choose your driving partner, whether it's a close friend or a new acquaintance. Having a partner on the road makes those long hauls more enjoyable. And what about rest? Team drivers sleep in comfy bunk beds while the truck is moving, allowing for nearly non-stop travel without sacrificing sleep. Safety is another major advantage. With two drivers, there's an added layer of oversight to ensure committed safety. So, if you're ready to take your trucking career to the next level, consider team driving with Stevens Transport. It's the perfect blend of companionship, efficiency, and increased earnings. Explore the benefits of team driving and start your adventure today with Stevens Transport. Apply now and join a team that drives you to success. Your journey starts here.
Welcome back to the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast. My name is Tim Cicerelli, otherwise known as Trucker Tim. If you wouldn't mind, when you hit your next stop, please follow or subscribe to this podcast from whichever podcast platform you're enjoying it from. We are everywhere. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible. If it's a platform with a podcast on it, we are there. And by following the podcast, you'll have a brand new episode waiting for you each and every week as soon as it's released. And if you wouldn't mind, please leave us a review. Tell us what you like about the show and what you'd like changed. We are producing this podcast for you to keep you educated, informed, and hopefully a little entertained as well. It's our driver spotlight, and how cool is this? I am talking to a future Hall of Famer. And I mean the HAUL type of Hall. And someone whose name is going to be in the HALL of fame at Stevens Transport. DeAndre Benz. Been on the podcast here. It's been a couple years, hasn't it, DeAndre?
Yes, sir.
Welcome back, my friend. How you been?
I've been good. Actually, I just got done completing my lease.
Congratulations, my man. Wow, that is huge. Tell us about what that must feel like, that accomplishment.
Honestly, it feels great. This is like my fourth one since I've been with Stevens. They come quick. I just say that. This time around, it was like 2 years went fast.
It went fast because you're putting your nose down and you're grinding, aren't you, my friend? That's why.
Yeah, got to.
So you've completed 4 leases with Stevens Transport.
Yes, sir.
Okay. For those that are thinking about embarking upon a career in trucking, for those that are thinking about maybe becoming their own boss, right, an independent contractor, and coming over to Stevens, tell them, if you would, please, DeAndre, what that process was like and why that might have been one of the best moves you've ever made.
Well, for the process was once I got out of truck driving school, I came over straight to Stevens, and I was grateful to have 2 great trainers. One was both of them was actually contractors. So I got to learn the ins and outs of contracting. I didn't know the ins and outs of what it was like to be a company driver. So when I got done with my 6 weeks of training, it was like, I want to go contract.
You knew one way.
Yeah, I knew one way. I saw how everything was done. It was broken down to me. It was both trainers showed me bits and pieces of how they do it and how to maintain. And so when they came back and they asked me, back then we was doing pre-alliance. They were like, you want to do pre-alliance? I said, yeah. You ain't got to ask me twice. And so I had Miss Barber as my pre-alliance DM. She is now the operation manager for Comfort Zone.
Yeah.
So she done moved up since the 7 years.
Yeah, that's a sweet spot right there.
Yeah. So she helped me. She pushed me a lot. Like, I have a lot of gratitude for her because she was a former driver.
Yeah.
And so she taught me a lot. She taught me how to run, how to manage before I even became full-blown contractor. So she taught me, hey, if you want to run, this is how I'm going to run you. So she was, I would say, probably one of the vitals or backbones to getting me into the contracting and teaching me the actual what I need to do.
So when you say teach you what you need to do, did you have any business experience before doing that?
No.
See, none.
None.
And how amazing is that this company can not only teach you how to drive safely and efficiently and effectively, but how to run a business as well. And you've completed 4 leases.
Yes.
You're a star, buddy, and about to be a Hall of Famer. That's incredible.
Yeah, as I tell former students or future contractors, once you get into this business of wanting to be a contractor, being your own boss, you have to start thinking with 3 hats on your head. And that's how Miss Barber taught me. She taught me 3 hats: owner, boss, manager.
Yeah.
And employee last. Owner is because you want to make sure your business is doing right. Manager, because you want to make sure you stand on top of like your fuel, maintenance, and things like that you have to get taken care of. And then last is the driving part, just taking care of your driving.
And they teach you how to wear those different hats. It's not just something you have to figure out on your own, which most small business owners do. A lot of small business owners across this great country of ours start a business because they love to do something. And they think, well, then I'll just do it on my own. And they're really good at doing that thing, whatever it could be. But then that business aspect of it, that is a whole other animal, and that's really the engine that drives the business. And at Stevens, they have consultants and they've got tax people and everybody to kind of show you the way, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And then, so what's the great thing, what I love about it is you have a business team. It's just not like, hey, we're going to let you go through it and you have to buy your team. You have a business team that say, hey, DeAndre, this is the numbers you need to do this week. Hey, the numbers ain't here. Hey, we got to see what's going on. Well, why are you taking so much time off? Or why are we doing this? So it's always, okay, well, we need to pick this up here. We need to run this here.
Yeah.
So, and if you're behind it, be like, hey, this is a good thing that you need to do. You got a couple of things Stevens set up for you. You have these credits that Stevens do have if you get behind a little bit. And then you be like, so I like that. And then you also have bookkeeping. Bookkeeping is another vital part because they take care of your receipts. So when it comes time to file your taxes, you can just get one report from them, and it's one slip that helps you file your taxes.
Okay, now let me just tell you, I'm a small business owner myself. That alone is worth its weight in gold. It is amazing benefit to becoming an independent contractor with Stevens Transport. Well, let me just tell you how much I appreciate you taking time out of your day, DeAndre Benz, to be with us and explain the value of becoming a business owner with Stevens Transport in particular. Congratulations on that 4th lease completion, and then let's have you on again soon.
Okay.
Because how close are you to that 1,000,000 miles right now?
Oh, I'm real close. Think I'm about maybe 30 to 40 some thousand miles left.
Oh, we'll see you in a few weeks.
Yeah, pretty much.
Probably by Driver Appreciation Week, we'll be putting you in that Hall of Fame, my friend.
Oh yeah, I'm ready to do it because my best friend, he just completed his last year. My trainer just completed his 2 million miles.
Ooh. Well, you're right on his tail, right? We'll see you in there, and please come by during Driver Appreciation Week.
Oh, I
and
definitely will.
Congratulations to you. Great to have you on the podcast again. And then when you become a Hall of Famer, we'll bring you on back. DeAndre Benz, independent contractor, completed 4 leases, about to be a Hall of Famer on the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio podcast. Stevens Transport Roadside Radio podcast. How lucky am I that I get to sit down and talk to some folks who have really made Stevens what it is. I mean, 45 years in business, and you can't do that unless you have pillars holding the place up. People that have put the time in, that have put the work in, that have influenced others and helped move this company forward. And a gentleman joining us now is somebody I remember going way back to season 1. And we are now in season 8. I think he's been on the podcast with us many, many times. And so he is being inducted into our Legends series here. And it's always fun to bring somebody in to talk about their career at Stevens Transport. But I love talking to this gentleman because he is a man who you'll see him on social media and Facebook welcoming some drivers into the Hall of Fame. It's him who's handing the certificate over and congratulating them. And for us, what a pleasure to welcome back to the podcast, Mr. Jim Adams. Hey, Jim, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. And yourself?
I'm doing really good. Great to see you. And this is now, how many years have you been with Stevens? 20 plus years, right?
22 years.
In 22 years, Jim Adams, how many positions have you had there at Stevens?
5 or 6, I would assume. Driver to trainer, student, fleet safety manager, trainer mentor, safety director for a little bit, and now into the role of helping everybody and anybody.
So helping everybody and anybody. 22 years with the company. So the title of that, I guess, would be just the Jim Adams.
That's what it says in the hallway now. If you come in to see, you can sign in for safety talk, safety director, trainer mentor, or you sign in for Jim Adams.
I love that. So just sign up for Jim Adams and he'll make some time for you because you've been doing that as a mentor for many, many years, Jim. Before we get into what our listeners can learn from you for a long career at Stevens Transport, what have you gained from this time? Personally, I'm not talking professionally, but personally, I know you have interacted with thousands of people over these last 2 decades. What do you think your takeaway is?
It's the relationships we have with the drivers. And the drivers listen to drivers more than they do anybody else. So I never try to be a director or it's just another driver talking to another driver about any issues they're having.
Because you've been there, done that.
Absolutely.
And your time on the road, how long were you driving for Stevens?
Over 10 years.
So you've been actually now in the hallways there at Stevens and on the roadways. What do you miss most about driving?
Nothing. I have a 17-year-old at home. I've been off the road for 12 years.
Yeah.
So I've got to enjoy her growing up.
Yeah.
And with the wife and so forth.
Wonderful. So you took that 10 years on the road and now you're using it to help other drivers, hopefully not make some mistakes, but do some of the things that you've done right. Let's talk a little bit about your driving career, though. I know you don't miss it a whole lot, but what was it that you loved about driving?
Driver trainer for over 9 years, almost 10 years. It was the teaching aspect of having somebody on the truck.
Yeah.
And we were going about the country. We're seeing everything. I did get to all 48 states and 5 municipalities in Canada. So that was all. But after you've done it for 10 years, it turns into that, been there, done that. It can. Unless you're just somebody who really just loves to get up in the morning and see the mountains out in front of you.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's great.
For a while, right? And that, to me, is, in the 5 years of doing this podcast, Jim, is and talking to, probably hundreds of drivers, is how wonderful it is that with a company like Stevens Transport, You could drive for 10 years, 5 years, 15, whatever it is. But if you want to make a change in your career, there's always that opportunity. Let's talk about that opportunity for some drivers that are listening right now that might have been doing it for several years and are thinking, I could use a change. What are some of those opportunities a legend like yourself can pass along to them and let them know that there's something else waiting for them within the walls of Stevens?
There are. We've always got a resident instructor position that can be filled, and those are all ex-drivers. It would be great to have a driver manager who's a former driver. Therefore, he can give the advice that he needs to his drivers. You can get into dispatch. I mean, we've got drivers all through this building. You get up into the business side of it. You're not stuck so-called being just a so-called driver. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of opportunities here.
A lot of opportunities. So when you look at what you've done over the last 22 years, I'm sure there are several, but tell us one or two milestones that you'll always remember.
The biggest one for me is fairly simple. As a trainer, I had 108 students or trainees. Not one of them jumped off the truck. Not one of them got thrown off the truck. Everybody went out and everybody came back.
So basically what I'm hearing is no one left on their own and you didn't boot anybody out.
Absolutely. That's one of my strengths is the art of de-escalation.
Yeah.
And that can get very difficult when you got two adults in a truck 10 by 10.
Yeah.
We can get on each other's nerves very quickly. And sometimes you got to know when to just separate. Mm-hmm. Hey, going to dinner, I'll go when you get back.
One of the things I've learned as well, too, is talking to some of those that have been in your position is Stevens does a pretty good job at matching people up from trainers to drivers, almost like as if it's a dating app or something, right? Mm-hmm. To try to find people that are similar in many ways so they can hopefully not have to de-escalate a scenario or a situation.
Right. Anytime you have human beings in a situation, there can be issues.
Yeah, in a 10 by 10 cab as well,
Not that anybody's doing anything wrong.
Right.
You could have one person who's talking to his wife and they're arguing, and the other person's arguing with his wife. Next thing you know, they're arguing with each other and they're not even mad at each other. It's the outside forces.
And so those years where you were training, did you ever develop any great friendships?
A lot of them. I only got one left still working for the company, and he's actually running the grad class. So he's another one that didn't stay driving. He came in.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people know him because everybody comes in for grad class. They all know. They call him Boston Mike.
Yeah.
And as I try to remind him, he's not from Boston. He's actually from New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. Yeah. Well, that's closer to Boston than Dallas is. So I guess,
that's true.
So I guess that nickname can kind of stick, I suppose, right? How do you stay motivated? I mean, 22 years, it's a long time to be with the same company. What keeps you motivated?
Drivers. That's my job. I talk to drivers. We talk about the good things we can do while we're driving. Mm-hmm. I try to expand on the teachings that I've been given over the years. It's all about just being safe. It's about not giving your money back in deductibles and accidents and tickets and things like that. Mm-hmm. And I'm greedy. I like money. And as a truck driver, that's not a bad thing, as long as you do it legally by the book.
In no way is it a bad thing, in no industry. And that's why we're all in business, right? We have families to support.
Absolutely.
And Stevens Transport has provided the opportunity for tens of thousands of people to provide for their family.
Sure.
Let's talk about that family culture at Stevens Transport. 22 years, you've been out on the road. You've been there at Stevens in Dallas. From Jim Adams, who's been there for over 2 decades, almost exactly half the time this company's been in business. What would you say is the best part of this culture at Stevens Transport?
Not to steal from Sister Sledge or the 79 Pirates, it would be we are family. We have a group of us. Every quarter we go out for dinner. Mm-hmm. We have a group of us that we kind of go to lunch once a week. We spend more times with these people than we do our actual families.
Yeah.
So we're checking on them, checking on their families, what's going on. The older we get, the health concerns we're all getting into.
Of course.
We're always checking on each other.
I also find it pretty amazing that somebody who's been with the company as long as you have and other colleagues that you have there at Stevens Transport, now that their kids are grown, a lot of them are working at Stevens Transport as well, too. So it is family in a figurative and a literal sense. And, of course, a literal sense in the fact that it is family built, family run, and family operated, and you're a part of that, Jim. And I've seen you with other people, and then you do everything you can to make some of these younger drivers feel a part of that as well. So what advice would you give to a new driver, someone that stumbled across this podcast? Maybe they're not with Stevens Transport yet, or they're going to school. What about this industry should keep them moving, and what about Stevens Transport should keep them coming to our side of the fence?
Just get up in the morning and go to work. That's all there is to it. Don't play games. Get up and go to work. Whatever needs to be done. If you got to move freight, you're going to make money. If you don't move freight, you don't make money. It's not a difficult thought process. Stevens has got the freight for you. They're going to get you moving.
You know what you just said right there. Stevens has the freight for you. They'll keep you moving no matter what's taking place. You're an essential worker. There's always money to be made. And so anybody that's thinking about taking that jump into a new industry, and like dozens and dozens and maybe hundreds of drivers have said to me, at least, I get paid to go on vacation, in essence, you know. Aside from the structure of the job, get up and go to work, not that we're eulogizing you, Jim, at all. We're hoping you're with us another 22 years or so. But looking back upon your 22 years as we wrap up this Legend Series with you, what would you like to say about your career at Stevens Transport? You're not retiring. You're not being fired. I just want to know, at this point, what would you say?
Everything with me is all about the relationships that I've had, the privilege I've had of meeting these people, getting into their lives, having the conversations, the knowledge I've learned from them. I hate to admit it. I've told different drivers this. I'm a thief. If we have a conversation, I'm going to steal part of it, and I'm going to use it again.
Yeah.
Because everybody has a knowledge of something if you'll listen. What was that I heard once before? If you speak, you're only repeating what you already know, but if you listen, you can learn something new.
Wow. Pearls of wisdom from Jim Adams. And his title at Stevens Transport is basically Jim Adams.
There you go.
Whatever you need from Jim, he's got your back. Again, buddy, it's a pleasure to have you back on. Looking forward to seeing you during Driver Appreciation Week, and thanks so much for being with us, Jim.
Anytime. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, before we pump the brakes on episode 155, time to answer our Stevens Transport Did You Know question we asked at the top of the episode. Right before our Stevens Roundtable segment, I asked if you knew in 2024 how many drivers were traveling with their pet. Well, the answer is 125 drivers with Stevens Transport drove with their pet. Just another benefit of driving with Stevens Transport. You can take Fido on the road with you. They even have a little area for the dog on the yard for the dog to come out and take a break and hang out with the other drivers and dogs as well. We'll have another Did You Know question in our next episode. All right, there she is. Let's pump the brakes on episode 155 of the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast. If you found this podcast because you're searching for a brand new career, please make sure you visit the episode notes. We will have phone numbers and every link possible for you to learn more about Stevens Transport and even schedule a call with one of our recruiters. All the information is in the episode notes. And like we said earlier, please follow or subscribe to this podcast from whichever platform you're enjoying it from, and share it with one of your fellow drivers. We sure would appreciate it. And finally, my name is Tim Cicerelli, otherwise known as Trucker Tim. Thanks for joining me. And until next time, be safe out there. And thanks for listening to the Stevens Transport Roadside Radio Podcast.